Today on the Topping Show, every DNC chair blames their 2024 loss on racism and misogyny. Former president of Kenya goes viral for mocking countries crying about Trump cutting off foreign aid. Hollywood celebrities Matthew McConaughey, Billy Bob Thornton, Dennis Quid, and others calling Hollywood to move to Texas. Honda and Nissan merger will not include Mitsubishi, and Matrix trading bikes are being recalled. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special privacy IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, in fact, it does come with a fun Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more, or click the URL in the video description below. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have confirmation that the Honda and Nissan merger will not include Mitsubishi, which is tough news for all 18 of the people who wanted to buy Mitsubishi, with maybe an even greater discount with some parts they buy and, get some sharings in the aggregate. Now, in all seriousness, it is, to me, an abomination that Honda is even entertaining, they're going to merge with Nissan, which is kind of like again, I'm trying to think of an appropriate metaphor in terms of what would be the most relatable. Maybe a sports balls team. The Patriots won forever, so it'd be like the Patriots trying to buy the Bears, which allegedly the Bears did win the Super Bowl years ago. I believe the photos are still such a long time ago. The photos are stored on a floppy disk. I think that'd be the best metaphor in terms of the sports balls and Honda buying a Nissan, which, again, the CVT transmissions completely destroyed any semblance of reputation Nissan had when it came to reliability. Now, I guess they're only known for making the Nissan Z or 400Z, which, to their credit, is the only twin-turbo stick-shift V6 you get on the market these days. And if I had lottery winnings, shoot, I'd probably get a Nissan Z in the garage. It looks like a fun little sports car. But besides that, in their portfolio, Nissan doesn't have much to offer. Now, this does come to us thanks to Motor1.com. Now, specifically, this is Adrian Panayu, who's a writer over there. And he says, quote, "The Honda-Nissan merger won't include Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi allegedly wants to remain independent." Which, why? I mean, when you look at history and business mergers and debates and philosophies on, mergers, acquisitions, a valid concern for businesses who have a modicum of reputation and, can stand on their own 2 feet would be, yeah, we don't want them interfering with our operations. We want to remain independent. We want our creativity to be intact. We don't want their bureaucrats getting involved. And we don't need their help. We're, financially viable. None of those things apply to Mitsubishi. I mean, that brand is dying so much. It is hilarious that they don't want help. I mean, think about it. When was the last time you even heard Mitsubishi in a good sentence? They were in the Fast and Furious movies decades ago. That was an awesome Mitsubishi Eclipse. However, the new Mitsubishi Eclipse is a bastardized crossover SUV. Truth be told, that's most of the lineup these days. They barely have any footprint at all in North America. I mean, it is the discount of discount Japanese vehicles. The only thing going for Mitsubishi, they do make the Mirage, which some might debate that like a real Mirage, you actually want it to go away. You're glad it's not real. But in this case, Mirage is only known for being the cheapest new car you can get with a warranty, which to give some kudos to Mitsubishi, it is a feat of engineering and cost savings in and of itself. They can get such a new car at such a sub $23,000 price point. Realistically, people are buying them for $16,000 to $18,000 after dealer discounts, which also shows how desperate they are for sales. And I drove them around. It was a 3-banger, or had 3 cylinders, and unfortunately, auto transmission, and got pretty good fuel economy. And it worked for that short time where I was without a vehicle. I needed to rent one. But I mean, what is Mitsubishi known for these days? The Lancer Evo was legendary, but they haven't made that in years. So they're making subpar SUVs that, again, think about it, no one buys. I've seen a Mitsubishi dealership. I've never seen anything coming off the lot. And granted, small anecdotal evidence of all my friends, and yes, I do in fact have more than 3, including my pet Rock. None of them have Mitsubishis. None. Like, I have friends with every, like, I have a friend pretty much of every, I think if I think of all the friends I have and all the vehicles I have, I think I know at least one person who owns at least one of every type of vehicle, minus Pagani. But I don't know a single person who has a Mitsubishi. So it is hilarious that they say, oh yeah, we don't want to be a part of this merger, which, again, I thought they would be begging just for the cost savings alone for the parts and subcomponents that, again, like when you and I go to Costco, well, I don't go to Costco, but you know what I mean. If you go to Costco, you get a discount for buying things in bulk. Same thing for most anything in life. And with auto companies, a lot of them share the same components. So if you had 3 brands, they can buy even more parts. You get a better discount per unit. So it's hilarious that Mitsubishi is like, oh no, we don't want to be a part of this. Which, again, Honda should not be buying Nissan at all. That is ridiculous. But nevertheless, into the article we go. Adrian says, quote, a month ago, Honda and Nissan signed a memorandum of understanding to explore a potential mega merger that would create a single new holding company. Although the joint press release didn't mention Mitsubishi, a separate document released the same day mentioned a second MOU signed by 3 Japanese brands. Mitsu said it would explore its participation, involvement, and synergy, sharing concerned potential of the Honda-Nissan merger, which there's some funny words where it's just kind of cliche, almost like politics, also in business, like, oh yeah, synergy, which, yes, it's true, but kind of played out term. They say, however, Automotive News now cites Japanese newspapers, Yomori, alleging Mitsubishi had decided to opt out of the merger that would create one of the largest car companies in the industry. I mean, with Nissan, definitely not the most reliable. According to the report, Mitsubishi had considered joining the Honda and Nissan in the newly ventured holding company, but apparently decided to continue to ride solo, which, why? They say Mitsubishi has since issued a statement. It neither confirmed nor denied that report, only saying it's evaluating options. The corporate situation is somewhat complicated, considering Nissan is its largest shareholder with 24% stake in Mitsubishi. Then there's Renault, which holds 15% share in Nissan and vice versa. However, Bloomberg reports that Honda doesn't want Renault to be involved with the merger. When the Honda-Nissan joint announcement was made in December, Renault only said that it would consider all options based on the interest of the groups and its stakeholders. They say that early next month, Mitsubishi is expected to reveal its decision about how it stands regarding the Honda-Nissan merger, whether it's in or out. The critical announcement could be made in February 3rd after presentation. Well, we'll see about that. They say upcoming Nissan could still show, Nissan could sell their stake in the company. Let's see. Now they say that former Nissan and Renault Supremo Carlos Ghosn, which is actually how you pronounce it properly. I read his book last year. His book is called Shift, where actually he did take Nissan from the brink of bankruptcy to being one of the most successful companies. I mean, you and I might like him because he was the one who brought Nissan 350Z to the forefront. And really, I think that was a good metaphor for turning the company around, which at the time they did. Then they crashed and burned. Now, they also say his mind declared, he was saying that he wants to carry on a disguised takeover of Nissan and Mitsubishi. He argued that since Honda is larger than the 2 other domestic brands, it puts the company in, quote, driver's seat to take control. Which, and then they say, what about Toyota? Chairman Akio Toyoda, who is the grandson of the founder of the company, they said would never be involved in merger talks due to anti-monopoly laws. The former CEO said, he's a chairman now still, said that an even larger merger wouldn't have been possible anyway, considering Toyota has a 20% stake in Subaru, 5% in Mazda, which people always forget about Mazda. The RX-7 is pretty legendary, and the RX-8, and obviously the Miata. And later they make other vehicles, but none of us care about those. And they also a 5% stake in Suzuki. That would be a corporate nightmare to manage, especially since Toyota owns fully Daihatsu. Well, which, yeah, Toyota's the largest automaker on the planet. Yeah, with the antitrust laws, they would never be allowed to buy Honda or Nissan. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. Toyota's not even going to bother entertaining this because it wouldn't happen. But, yeah, part of me really hopes this falls through because Honda is known for reliability, making fun, great stick shift vehicles. And Nissan is known for the Nissan Altima and BAE Energy, which admittedly is a very entertaining page on the Facebook, but in all reality, the vehicles are not reliable. And again, Nissan's known for giving you a car if you have just a pulse with the Nissan credit division. Like if you have a pulse, it doesn't matter your credit, they'll get you that car. And Mitsubishi, they're known for maybe selling 3 cars a year. So again, not surprised that Mitsubishi isn't going to be involved in this. And let me know, do you think Mitsubishi is missing out on not wanting to be a part of this potentially new big company? And again, let me know, do you know anyone who probably drives a Mitsubishi? Now, Nissan, again, they have the cool Z. I love that. That's pretty cool. The GTR is legendary, even though automatic transmission the whole time. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the cultural part podcast, you have Hollywood celebrities Matthew McConaughey, Billy Bob Thornton, Dennis Quaid, and more calling for Hollywood to move to Texas, which, as if Austin wasn't Austin enough, now you might get Hollywood there, which Hollywood has diminished in influence past couple of years especially, but it's still a multi-billion-dollar industry. Now, this is posted thanks to Matthew McConaughey, who's known for, well, taking copious amounts of illegal substances and then saying, all right. There's no third thing. I think those are the only two things he's known for. He's also in movies from time to time, and people really like him for some reason. Now, admittedly, I actually didn't know that Woody Harrelson was the same person as Matthew McConaughey when I was a kid. Fun fact of the day. And it might be insufferable, but it is 4 minutes and 9 seconds. They're going to say, why should Hollywood move to Texas? Which, physically speaking, they'd save a lot of money, but does Texas really want that? I don't know about that. I'd rather have real businesses like Tesla and, other awesome companies moving here versus the industry of Hollywood and all of Hollywood, what they represent. But without too much further ado, let's hear Matthew McConaughey in this Lincoln commercial. This Hollywood commercial.
You ever wonder if this industry of ours is just chasing its own tail?
No. I don't wonder. Restrictions, regulations, nickel and diamond productions, political lectures. Hollywood, it's a flat circle wood, round and round like a record with the sound off.
So what, you just want to turn the record off?
No. I want to change the tune.
I got a CD of Jonas Brothers B-sides, real deep cuts.
Look, this industry's like somebody's memory of an industry, and the memory's fading. I'm talking about a whole new hub for film and television, a renaissance, a rebirth.
How about a wholesale takeover?
Yeah. Small fraction of Texas budget surplus could turn this state into the new Hollywood.
Well, but we're not going to call it Hollywood. We'll call it, like, Fort Worth, Beaumont,
Austin,
Houston,
El Paso,
Longview,
McAllen,
Brown,
the Alamo.
Frankston.
Yeah.
McConaughey, where are you guys? I'm already on set. Texas has pulled a boatload of money for film incentives last session. And this session, the sky's the limit.
No, we're heading to Texas, Billy Bob.
All right, well, the barbecue guy just dropped the grub off, so you might want to get on down here. It looks damn good.
Hey, Billy Bob.
Yeah.
You're on in 5.
Okay, thanks, hon. All right, dude, I gotta go.
Yep.
Hey, it's Renee. Renee.
Hey, y'all, just heard from Billy Bob. Told me you're heading to Texas.
That was quick.
That's quick.
Damn.
Well, count me in. I've been hotel hopping in all these other states for way too long. And I get it. I mean, making a production is hard. And if all these other states are going to offer an incentive, then that's where we're going to keep going, I just wish we could bring some of these productions home to Texas.
Well, get down here. Come on.
She makes a good point. Why should all these other states take advantage of this investment, but not Texas?
Exactly. We shouldn't have to shoot in Georgia.
Thornton makes...
Well, I can think of one reason, because all those Hollywood folks would want to steal from us, aka raise taxes, heaven forbid actually try to get an income tax in Texas. They would try to California our Texas. That's probably why I think most Texans wouldn't want Hollywood coming here, as they destroy their own state like a virus. They seem to go to the other states and enact the same laws and policies that destroyed California. It's like they don't learn.
Or South Carolina.
Or Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Why don't we just keep that money in Texas?
Ain't all that money like corporate welfare for big Hollywood studios?
No, what it's not.
Lumber yards, restaurants, hotels, housing, thousands of jobs.
Real Texas business owners and citizens. You see, every dollar spent from this incentive puts $4 back in the state of Texas.
That's good ROI.
Productions happen where incentives are.
Texas has the best land, best culture.
So why not the best incentives?
And look, it's not just films with A-list talent either. It's also the independents, commercials, local music videos.
They utilize local infrastructure. So you got all that out-of-state money going into Texans' pockets.
You're telling me my barber is going to benefit from Texas film incentives?
Maybe not your barber, but barbers. Sure.
You know, it just occurred to me that Texas is bigger than most countries. I mean, we got a greater variety of locations than anywhere.
We got deserts, oceans, we got forest, we got rolling hills. Is there anything we don't have?
It's time for Texas to become the home for telling stories that people want to see and hear.
Sounds like it's time for Texas to roll
That's funny because Hollywood doesn't make those anymore, but
camera.
Yep. So what do you say, Texas legislature? You don't like what Hollywood's been dishing?
no, we
Let's
don't.
take over the kitchen.
Crap.
Yeah.
No, leave your. No. And it ends with the screen says, "True to Texas, let's bring productions home." I guess that gal's name was Renee Zellweger. She doesn't know how to wear a hat, but I guess she's an actress, I suppose. This one pretty well got 2.9 million views, posted by Matthew McConaughey on X, and 53,000 likes, which, yeah, it would boost the economy. Yes, the advantage of it incentivizing businesses to move to Texas, but you'd also bring all the Californians here, which some of them are great. Some of them are escaping the tyranny of California and Ed Bet. They're great gun-loving folks, low tax loving, small government, low taxes, pro-gun. Those folks are awesome. I like them. But you have people who want to raise taxes. You have people who want to implement an income tax. It's one of the most disgusting ideas I've heard in years. Those people will also come from California. Now, California is one of the most, they voted to destroy their own state throughout the years. There's a reason why all those popular films, was it the Breaking Good or Breaking Bad film? That TV show is mostly filmed in New Mexico, I believe. Or maybe Mexico with all the yellow filters, I think. But it's because those states are infinitely easier to do business with. They are on the point with that. There's too much regulation in California. That's why pretty much nearly every business that has left, especially small businesses. They can't afford to be there. It's just too burdensome. The taxes are way too high. The regulations are way too high. But you get what you vote for. The people in California, they voted for that time and time again. Now, if they come to Texas, I can't help but think there's a high propensity they would do that yet again. And look at Austin. There's a lot more. You can't go 2 weeks without another law in the book over there. And subsequent increase, and it just keeps getting more and more expensive. So this would boost business. I 110% agree with that. The point that they're making in that regard. But does Texas really want those? Do they really want Hollywood to come here? When Hollywood already mostly makes trash. When was the last time there was a good movie coming out of Hollywood? Or was it just political indoctrination? Or just has a modicum of a storyline? What year was it? Well, let me know in the comments. When was the last time you actually went to a movie theater to watch a Hollywood film? Now, going to the comments, you got some mixed results. You have Mago Kitty saying yes, getting 6 likes. You have Retro Coast saying Gavin Newscomb just put a California government tax office in Houston. Illegal and major violation of Texas sovereignty. Interesting. That got 276 likes. You have Am I Right saying, quote, nah, we don't want your stuff here. We're done with Hollywood types. And we have been for quite a while now. As a group, y'all pretty much hate America, especially Texas. True. Don't like what you people like, and you have turned Austin into. Used to be such a gem, now it's ruined by liberals. Getting 226 likes. Lindsay Mom says, quote, just don't bring any Democrat, was it horse crap, with you from Hollywood? Or cow crap. I think it's a cow. It's a small emoji. It got 376 likes. Let's see. M. Jones says, everyone knows what this is all about, right? The money's going to use to make these so-called Texas movies will probably come from the taxpayers of Texas. Even money that stays this, even money says that this is how Greg Abbott wants to spend their surplus tax money. No, don't want your Hollywood. Getting 35, let's make it 36 likes. Got a couple of people just saying how awesome Texas is, which, community notes, yes, Texas is awesome. Texas Reflection says, quote, just don't bring the Hollywood woke bullshit to Texas, getting 28 likes, which they inevitably will. They're all part of the same group mind think. There's like 2, maybe 3 conservatives in Hollywood. They mostly get blacklisted. You have checks Rod, saying, quote, "Oh no, Texas doesn't need you, the BS you bring either. Take a look at what Hollywood-esque production brought to Atlanta. Not just no, but hell no," getting 79 likes. Michael Quinn Sullivan says, quote, "Matthew, y'all need to leave that woke leftist crap in California. No one wants to see it, and Texas don't want to pay for it." Yep. Scrolling down more and more. Let's see here. Kai Tenkai says, quote, "So long as the Texas film industry doesn't deteriorate in other perverse Hollywood cesspool, are all these big name stars going to ensure that their entertainment production won't evolve another Harvey Weinstein type of depravity?" Mm-hmm. And it has a little Hollywood award. It says, quote, "And the award for most sycophants, drug addicts, and child abusers in one location goes to Hollywood," getting 157 likes. Yeah, another reason not to invite them here. Holly Freely says, quote, "No, Matthew, Texas does not want Hollywood here. You and everything and everyone you know listed knows that. We certainly don't want our tax dollars funding your perversion." Getting 77 likes. David Bilal says, quote, "Fantastic explanation of why Texas should spend a little money on incentives to bring movies and productions to Texas, which will in turn bring lots more money to Texas," getting 56 likes. Which, yes, fiscally speaking, this would bring a fair amount of businesses and you would have a ripple effect. I mean, you know, just look at Toyota alone. They brought, was it 4,000 jobs to the new, well, it's no longer new, but a couple years ago, it was new North America headquarters in Plano, Texas. I mean, there are a lot of ripple effects with, you know, just suppliers, local businesses, restaurants. There are many people from benefit from it, but I mean, in this case, I think it would just chip away at the culture of Texas. And there'd be better businesses that we could provide incentive packages and mechanisms to come here. Yeah, Chinson saying, quote, "No, do not move that Hollywood or Hollyweird here. We can't afford the raising property tax," getting 56, making 57 likes. And we need to, come on, Greg Abbott, chisel away that property tax. Even folks like me who are renting, you know, ripple effect, our landlord's property tax go up and shoot, then our rent goes up. Blessed 2025 says, "Excellent group," getting 78 likes. Keenan says, quote, "If you want true diversity in American storytelling, y'all need stories from all over America," getting 155 likes. Let's see. I heard it in the X. It says, quote, "Didn't Zellweger try to separate herself from Texas during her career? I thought she hated Texas and all the good old country folk," getting 50 likes. Evan Tide says, "Please don't bring any more Californians to Texas," getting 53 likes. Which, yeah, that's another issue, is housing prices just go up and up and up. And yeah, hopefully the supply catches up with it. But yeah, geez Louise. Let's see. Lisa Alexander says, quote, "George Lane is an amazing young man who happens to be my nephew. Obvious bias aside, fantastic idea." Oh, interesting, getting 5 likes for that. So yeah, a couple mixed results. Let's see, one more. Allison Bill says, quote, "We don't want Texas to become Hollywood. Don't California our Texas." Yep, getting 102 likes, which, yeah, I concur. So, yeah, hopefully, maybe you need to write an email like Abbott, be like, "Hey, don't do that." Jetty Lee also says, "Don't California Texas," and we'll be fine, getting 41 likes. So, yeah, I can't but think, geez Louise. I think got a couple of memes of Gavin Newsom with everyone leaving his state, which I would argue can you think of a political figure that has driven away more businesses in the past decade or two than Gavin Newsom? I mean, I still have heard of maybe one business in the past 20 years moving to California. They all move out, which again, is just great for other states and their economies. But yeah, for the culture of Texas, yeah, I don't want Hollywood here. But that's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have every DNC chair blaming their 2024 loss on racism and misogyny. Now, this comes to us thanks to And Wokeness on X, in which he says, quote, "Every single candidate for DNC chair just blamed their 2024 loss on racism and misogyny," which, of course, it wasn't their piss poor qualifications or lack of good ideas and or terrible policies. No, it was, yeah, those things. Ridiculous, of course.
In this round, so I'm going to, I have a show of hands. How many of you believe that racism and misogyny played a role in Vice President Harris's defeat?
They all raise their hand. How stupid are they?
So that's good. You all passed.
I mean, they all pass the test of, yeah, they're idiots. Again, there might be a couple people like 10 who didn't vote for her because of that. A lot of people just thought, oh dear God, her policies are the worst policies that we've heard of ever in the United States. She also chose a VP who was so mentally vacuous and so morally vacuous, he said, there's no such guarantee as the First Amendment and freedom of speech. Yeah. Then you had Kamala Harris saying, oh yeah, we might tax unrealized gains. We're going to leave the border open. We're going to increase the rules and regulations. We're going to attack the oil industry still. We just had 4 years of hyperinflation and an open border. But no, they're saying, oh, you know, it's just because she's a woman. No. In fact, a lot of the voters like Tulsi Gabbard. The DNC pushed her out because she was too much of a contrarian, or I would argue because she has a modicum of intelligence, they had to push her out, and she wasn't just a puppet. And again, Kamala Harris was the most mentally, again, I would argue it's the lack of IQ points of why so many people didn't vote for her. She's so mentally vacuous. She was running on just, trying to copy Barack Obama, where she was just running on a campaign of joy and emotional rhetoric, which for the low IQ folks, for some folks, yeah, sure, you'll win their vote just because of that. But for months, she didn't have any policies out. And you had people like Mark Cuban going, oh, it's okay if she changes her policies up to the day of the election. Like, that's the average Kamala voter, that philosophy. It doesn't matter her policies. She can change them however she wants. So dumb. Again, I mean, saying that racism. You know what's very popular during the Republican primary? Vivek. And again, his family's from India. People like him, he's a brilliant entrepreneur. And he's also one of the most articulate folks I've ever seen in terms of being able to give you exact ways of how he would fix a lot of issues and having a vast amount of knowledge of the founding fathers and how our country works. There are a lot of folks who like Vivek. They like Trump more, so he obviously got the nominee and subsequently won. But yeah, racism? Again, there are a couple of those a-holes around, but they are very much in the minority. I mean, Democrats lost because of their insane policies, because of how radical they become, pushing gender ideology on kids, transitions. I mean, having boys compete in girls' sports, boys and girls' restrooms. I mean, record inflation, like grocery prices at 40-year high record inflation, printing more money than ever before. Yeah, they're saying, oh yeah, it's just, I mean, I guess this should be good for libertarians and Republicans because they're going to keep winning because the Democrats aren't learning. But yeah, that's not why you lost. I mean, the economy alone of the past 4 years was detrimental. And don't forget, who's the final vote who approved the ironically named Inflation Reduction Act? That's Kamala Harris. That act, again, ironic because it caused record inflation, was a bunch of, it's not green fiscally or I'd argue long-term for the environment, but a bunch of renewable crap that, again, doesn't really actually help out the environment, never really breaks even from a fiscal perspective for decades, and caused more inflation. And I still yet to find one person who benefited from the Inflation Reduction Act. It is so simplistic and rudimentary, yet they keep sticking to the same talking points and thinking, oh yeah, this is why we lost. No, it's not. Now, this went pretty well. I got 1.8 million views and 21,000 likes. One of the first comments comes from Elon Musk himself saying, wow, getting 4.7 thousand likes. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, the Democrats will lose again with this nonsense. They have learned nothing, getting 1.2 thousand likes. Precisely. Paul Zupa says they have learned nothing, getting 820 likes. Craig Chamberlain says, quote, I sure hope this is their strategy moving forward, because if it is, they're cooked, getting 215 likes. Democrat Media TM says, quote, at this point, we should just make J.D. Vance president in 2028. Forget an election with these Democrats won't stand a chance at winning, seeing as how they didn't learn the lesson of why they lost the recent 2024 election, getting 246 likes, which, yeah, they really didn't learn the lesson at all. I thought some of them would, but no, apparently not. AKA simply says delusional people, getting 279 likes. Salty Goat says, quote, good, that means they didn't learn anything. There will be no competition next election. So getting 2.3 thousand likes, which there will be always competition. I mean, a lot of their mantra, not all Democrats, but a lot of them simply say, rudimentarily, mentally vacuously say, vote blue no matter who, which is so stupid and asinine. And yes, there are a couple folks who do that on the right as well in terms of just if there's an R by their name, they'll give them a vote. You shouldn't, especially because there's a lot of rhinos, or pejoratively known as Republicans in name only. But yeah, as long as there's no voter ID, that's another variable. Fascinating how Kamala only won in states that didn't require that. And it was, 13 of the 15 states she won did not require voter ID? Coincidence? I'm sure. Now, you also have Stephen Legacy saying, quote, when will Democrats get the message? And it's Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder. And he says, you went full retard. You never go full. It's going to be a terrible impression of his impression. You went full retard. You never go full retard. Getting 430 likes. You also have America AF saying, quote, and these types of rhetoric of why they lose again in 2028. 50 Trump has a meme from The Simpsons where you have Principal Skinner doing the, what is it you? Is it? It can't be them. It's me. It's not me. It's them. And he's labeled as a DNC. He says, am I out of touch with the voters because of woke ideology? No, it must be because they're racist and misogynist. Getting 944 likes. Savannah says, quote, gearing up for another 2028 loss, Democrats have learned nothing, getting 165 likes. Nate Hockham says, quote, nobody cares anymore. These magical hate words, racist, sexist, etc., have lost all their power. People just roll their eyes now, getting 366 likes. 67 likes, goes up like a stock, which, yes, just like how they called everyone a bad guy from World War II, which allegedly gets your video on the YouTube blacklisted. Hard to say with their magical algorithm that they don't give us any insight into, but it's one of those instances where, yeah, they've done the age-old story of crying wolf time and time again, where those words have lost all meaning, which is bad because eventually, although statistically unlikely, some of those people do come to the forefront. Yeah, someone by the name of, let me see here, FJ Holly saying, quote, confirmed the DNC admits unanimously that Kamala lost because America was nuanced by Democrats' racism and misogyny, which got 57 likes. I mean, does anyone think she is smart, intelligent, wise, had good policies? Like, even my friends who are Democrats who hate Trump, even they just voted for her just because it wasn't Trump. Like, no one thought she was an exceptional candidate. She's one of the worst. She's the ultimate example of failing up in her career. Now, you also have, Puerto Rican saying, quote, they've learned nothing from the historic loss. Good. Getting 552 likes. You also have Retro Rebel saying, not surprised. You have a cartoon of a leftist. As a girl says, should I film my mental breakdown and post it online? Getting 60 likes, which is a fascinating phenomenon you see with leftists, that you see them always having these mental breakdowns, even though they're adults, but they act like they're child or children. And yet people on the right, if their person doesn't win the election, they just, go to work the next day, presumably because, they have jobs. Let's see here. Yeah, not seeing any contrarian statements here. And I mean, again, the next election cycle is far, it's literally years in the future. Maybe they'll learn by then, but I still can't believe they seem to have learned nothing. But let me know in the comments, are you surprised? But do you think they will actually pivot their methodology, their ideals of how they can maybe win again? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have the former president of Kenya mocking countries that are upset that Trump cut off foreign aid. Now, this comes to us thanks to Libs at TikTok, in which she says, quote, former president of Kenya mocks countries that are upset that Trump said he wouldn't give blank checks anymore to foreign governments. As youth might say, based.
People the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America. He's appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bwana. This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, tujiulize, what are we going to do? Haya ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah? To support ourselves. Because nobody is going to continue holding out a hand there to give you. It is time for us to use our resources for the right things. We are the ones who are using them for the wrong things. People.
Based. And that got 26 million views and 303,000 likes, going, as youth might say, viral to say the least. With one of the first comments coming from Zachary Heron saying, quote, can we trade him for AOC? Getting 18,000 likes. You have D saying, wow, a rare sort of honesty. Very rare indeed, getting 2.8 thousand likes. Paul Zupa says, this guy gets it. We are not the world's piggy bank, getting 2.5 thousand likes, which, historically speaking, we have. part of it, I understand the rationale of some politicians saying we need to give the US dollar to all these countries because then they will buy products and services using the US dollar. And they rationalize saying, though, that's a way we can try to more stabilize the global dollar. But you're also printing money on basically nothing and causing more and more inflation that hurts Americans. But yeah, you also have cool Christian engineers saying, quote, sorry, sir, it's time for America to be first. And it's a picture of Trump that says, let's put America first again, getting 112. So you get 113 likes. Jefferson's, interesting. Jefferson's violin says, quote, I like this man. Kenya is a relatively peaceful and in the tourist areas and a beautiful country, or so I've heard. Would it be awesome if Americans started to take more vacations there and helping their tourism industry, getting 859 likes, which it might help a little bit, but there are only a couple places on the planet that could really sustain themselves with tourism being like a majority of their GDP. And I mean, even when you look at places like Hawaii, I mean, how should they really contribute to our GDP? Not much, but their state is mostly tourism when you look at, all the dollars generated there. You also have Sentinel saying, quote, even foreign leaders understand why Americans have been saying for years, taxpayer money should serve the people who actually pay the taxes. No more blank checks, no more endless handouts. America First finally gained 2.3 thousand likes, which, of all it's also so really depressing to think of how much the government steals from us. Of every dollar we earn, at the end of the day, how much is left for us? If we were to sit down and calculate that, there'd be a revolution tomorrow, or we'd be really depressed. Think about it. You got income tax, sales tax, alcohol tax, tobacco tax, gasoline tax, telecom tax, inheritance tax, capital gains tax, property tax. There's so many, it's criminal. It's even more payroll taxes. The Ponzi scheme of Social Security. One of the most asinine things would be taxes when they tax the money multiple times. So you get an income, pay income tax. If you want to give money to a friend or someone else, then they got to claim that as their income and it's taxed yet again. It is criminal how much they steal from us. And how much do we get? How much of a benefit do you get directly from the federal government or local government? How much are you really getting of all the taxes we're paying? How much are you really benefiting at the end of the day? It is criminal how such a large percentage they take. Federal tax is 30 to 40%. 35. Some states, it's up to 13%. Texas has an 8.25% sales tax. It is ridiculous, to say the least. You also have David Sullivan, pronouns prosecute Fauci, saying, quote, the Trump effect is what winning looks like. You have a little AI-generated video of the girl that cried like a child in 2016 when Trump won. And her head flies off like a rocket. And there's a bunch of those that got 252 likes. Christopher Fischel says, quote, if I recall correctly, that guy's wife owns or owned an apartment complex building with UN dollars for the poor. The UN money is an upscale graded community in Nurabai, and then the Kenyan government transferred the property to his wife. Source documentary, Good Fortune. Interesting. Yeah, don't get me started on the UN and all the money they steal while disarming law-abiding good citizens around the globe. Last Day With You says, quote, former Kenyan president out there hitting the world leaders out of the park with his classic, why are you mad? That's not even your dad. Getting 559 likes. You also have the Red Post saying, quote, foreign aid is the biggest scam ever conceived, getting 3,000 likes. You also have Side-Eyed saying, quote, Kenya is based AF. They are also going after Gates. Someone please tell them to add Fauci, getting 49 likes. Someone by the name of Someone Important says what? They say, quote, I like this guy. He's funny and his message is absolutely on point. He knows it has to be Kenya first. Stop being a welfare country and making yourselves great again. Getting 44 likes. Which, yeah, if you look at the long-term history of countries and recipients of foreign aid, not too dissimilar from welfare. Sometimes you think you're doing good, but you're just incentivizing bad behavior, which I would argue is actually bad morally and fiscally as well. Valerie Brooks also says, I met a pastor who was Kenyan. He said the same thing. He thought Kenya will be better off without U.S. foreign aid. Then they would have resources, education, and strong people. They can excel, getting 326 likes. Thug Life Lago says, quote, Donald will call this guy after seeing this getting 156 likes. Hercules says, quote, how shocking that putting the America First motives other countries to help themselves and put their people first. No more dependency, self-sufficiency is the new norm, getting 664, make it 665 likes. Make Men Great Again says, quote, the former president of Kenya gets it. Trump doesn't owe foreign governments anything, getting 687 likes. And neither do you and I. Because remember, some of that money is our money. It is beyond ridiculous. One more. Make 1984 Fiction Again. Exceptional profile name since, yeah, it's sad how much modern society reflects that book, if not worse, when you look at the dystopian hell of the government being big and all-encompassing. Great book by George Orwell. Everyone should be required to read it. Now, he says, quote, if the majority of Americans could see it this way, we wouldn't be such debt. Getting 54 likes. Yeah. It even blows my mind that we give foreign aid to all these countries across the globe, while we ourselves have $36 trillion in debt. We now spend more on the interest payments of that debt than we spend on defense. And for decades, it's been a cliche of people saying we spend too much on defense and, way too much money, which, I would argue you probably want to have a strong military and, the best technology in terms of, there's a reason all the top defense contractors are headquartered in the United States and make the coolest and awesomest of weapons. Good deterrence from people trying to invade us and mess with us. But people used to rally on we spend too much. We spend more not on the loan. It's just the interest, which would scare the absolute bejesus out of everyone. And yet, we need to cut away benefits, but even Trump, they won't touch that because then you lose a lot of votes. But yeah, we need to radically trim the fat from the budget. And some of that is, the things people are too scared to talk about, like Social Security being a scam, a Ponzi scheme we need to get rid of, and all other welfare that is not sustainable. So hopefully this message spreads across the globe and more countries want to become self-sufficient. You'd have to be, you would really undoing decades of dependency and that mindset and, lifestyle. But let me know, do you think that's possible? And then do you think our money should be going to countries that in many cases we actually don't do business with and that you and I don't have any direct benefit from? Let me know your thoughts in the comments because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Matrix training bikes being recalled due to, falling hazard. Now, this comes to us thanks to the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission, in which they say, quote, Johnson Health Tech North America recalls Matrix branded training cycles due to a falling hazard. Here you can see one of those, I'd say it's pretty popular bike styles you see at the gym. Yeah, I think I've seen the Matrix from time to time. Not just a movie, but which is an exceptional film, but also these types of stationary cycles. Now, they note that, quote, this recall involves certain Matrix training cycles models. Well, these are uninspiring, but if you want to look at the actual asset tag or the barcode, all the info, that's where it'll say these really boring names. The CXP03, the CXP02, original, the CXM03, the CXV, and the CXM02. Such inspirational names from the marketing department. Now they say the recalled products have adjustable saddles and handlebars with an aluminum rear flywheel and magnetic resistance system. They have matte black steel frames, forged steel cranks, dual-sided SPD pedals, 4 leveling feet, and 2 transport wheels. Matrix is printed on the side. The model numbers and serial numbers are located on the label on the lower area of the cycle frame. Recalled cycles have a serial number that contains a prefix FC32. So again, FC32, ZFC32B, FC33, FC36, FC29D, or FC27. Now, they note that the people should immediately stop using it and contact them for a service tech to install a free repair kit. Now, unfortunately, it looks like they've had some instances of them actually breaking already. They know that the firm received 63 reports of seats unexpectedly lowering, including 2 reports the users... Again, it's funny because no one got hurt, but they said 2 users that fell off the cycle when the seat was lowered. Now, thankfully, no injuries have been reported, and thankfully no one's passed away from this, which, believe it or not, some people have passed away from exercise equipment. Now, they note that these are sold primarily to commercial fitness facilities, which, most people don't have commercial gym equipment at home, though if you can afford it, I recommend it since, commercial grade materials are usually rated for, heavy, as you would think, as it was named, commercial use, where you're having multiple people use it per day, where, again, most people individually would use it maybe once a day. Now, again, they were sold through January 2021 through October 2024 for between, we got the commercial prices too, $2,530 and $7,305. Jeez Louise. That's quite a pretty penny to say the least. Almost 10, yeah, $7,305 for a bike, which again is commercial grade. It's, high quality. It'll last for, well, shoot, decades if you take care of it. I mean, shoot, I love my pre-core 932i. I mean, that thing is nearly 20 years old. Well, I didn't get it new. Obviously got it used, but shoot, that thing's a workhorse, almost as bulletproof as a Honda Civic. Now, they know that the recall number, in case you're a gym owner or you see this at a gym and you feel so inclined, the recall number is 25-019. Again, 25-019. And again, most companies do have a certain amount of forgiveness when it comes to recalls and things breaking. When you're a business, you have a little bit less tolerance because, again, your income is dependent on these machines working for people to actually go to the gym and do a workout. So imagine if you're a gym facility and you've got a row of these where you don't just have one, you've got dozens. And all of a sudden, no one can use it. Or heaven forbid, someone uses it and a club member falls and injures himself. Then this is America. It's got to worry about lawsuits. Not only will they probably sue, manufacturer Matrix, but they might even try to sue your gym. So I'm not sure who missed this in the safety. I'm not sure. Yeah. How do you miss these types of things in a safety clearance or when you do quality assurance? Like, sit on the bike and of all the things on the bike, you want to be stable. The seat is, literally number one. And yet somehow the quality assurance failed to see that until now. Well, again, thankfully no one's gotten too hurt and, no one's passed away. So silver lining, they're ahead of the situation this time, but still for a commercial grade gym equipment manufacturer, when again, the competition is fierce, there's some great competitors. Precore being one of the best out there. Gotta say, Matrix, this is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.